Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare, and as you can see, I like cool stuff, and I like cool t-shirts. And that's why today's episode is brought to you by the Etsy shop T-shirts and stuff. And if you got a dark side like myself, I recommend the Dark Ones Closet on Etsy as well. Come on, who doesn't like cool shirts and cool shit? Use the code HORROR13 and save 13% off your order. Would I ever steer you wrong? Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare,
I'm Retro Meaty Man.
and we're with the maggots now.
Oh jeez. I was like, where is he gonna go with this one?
Now, we just saw Evil Dead Rise a little bit ago, like Saturday, and hell yeah, dude. I would say that so far, it's pretty safe to say that the franchise remains good.
I agree. Yes. I mean, right out the gate. Yeah. This is a world that I want to see built more of.
Yeah, we haven't had a movie since 2013, so 10 years ago, when they did the remake, and this is a lot more like in vein with that than it is like I guess, but I also feel like the TV show is a good bridge in between them, where you have a lot of the old school humor, but they still go with like the visuals and really nasty gore of these newer movies. Sorry. Woo. Um, but this one takes place in the city. They've kind of moved away. You get a little bit of a cabin in the woods near a lake kind of thing going on, but not much. It's mostly in the city. How'd you like that change?
I mean, I think it's nice. It's a change. It's obviously progression with time. Like, there's not a lot of people really are living out in the middle of the woods a lot of the time right now. Anyways, I mean, a lot of writers probably live in the city. Anyways, I don't know. It's a good change. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome. What do we got in the chat? We got Cheers to Fears. We just had an awesome stream about why we love Army of Darkness over on Gory Movies channel, but Cheers to Fears joined us for that one. We got Kevin from Haunted by Horror. We got Spooky Robin. Mayanne, good to see you. All right, well, thanks for checking us out. If you guys have seen it, let us know kind of what you're thinking. We're not going to do spoilers tonight, but you can tell us if you've seen it and if you liked it or not. We're going to just keep it pretty quick. This just dropped this weekend, so they're not going to do any spoilers. We might talk about some of the gore. We just won't tell you. Oh, God, I can't talk today.
He's joining the maggots for real.
Yeah, like. It's in me.
The
Don't let it get my babies.
Oh, no.
And by babies, I mean my beers.
Yeah, just lubricate it.
Yeah.
It helps.
Evil Witch, how you doing? Yeah. So, we saw this, and like I said, we'll do a more in-depth what we love about that on Gory Movies channel, like probably in about 2 weeks. I think she's doing the remake next Sunday, and then after that, the following Sunday, we'll do that. And then that'll be more spoilers. But right now, the movie's very fresh. I'm not going to spoil much. We're just going to talk a little bit about the plot, just like the premise, and what we kind of loved about it. There is a lot of great gore in here, like, damn.
I mean, obviously practical effects, 100% at play. Like, the gore was awesome. Like, it felt old school without being too copycatish.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It had a very old school vibe, but just with a new, like, crisp look. Yeah, they use all kinds of things from like cheese graters to tattoo guns. There's a lot of things that can hurt you in this movie, not just your normal.
And that's the stuff. I mean, I feel it. I have a sense of, like, when I see something, I can feel that pain. And the cheese grater. I mean, as funny as it may be to some people, watch it.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of Easter eggs in here. It doesn't spoil anything. I'll tell you right now. You won't find the Oldsmobile, because Raimi didn't direct this, and it really wouldn't make sense for his car or Ash's car to be in some random building. But there is an Easter egg with it. It's that chainsaw is painted specifically to look like the Oldsmobile, like the same colors.
Yeah.
So that's a reference there. Also, if you listen closely, you'll hear our man Ash. Kind of, you just got to pay attention to him. He does some Foley work. Bruce Campbell as well. So
he's on the vinyl, right?
Yeah, a little bit in the vinyl. You'll hear some Ash, but also you'll hear Bruce Campbell because he just did a lot of the Foley work and like some of the screams for the Deadites and stuff. So, Bruce is pretty hands-on, at least vocally, for this movie. And I appreciate him being involved. Yeah, like I said, there's all kinds of things. There's a wood chipper. I actually heard one thing I've heard negative about this movie is someone said that they said it was a perfect movie until the end because there was like a wood chipper. What? Why? Like they were like, why would a wood chipper be in a garage in a building? Because it's parked there. It's the kind of wood chipper you tow behind a truck. Like
Maybe somebody that's the only storage space he had
exactly.
was that parking space in his
That's
apartment.
where you keep it, not where you use it. I mean, I've seen boats in garage parking like that. That doesn't mean that's where people are
Either way,
driving
the
their
reason
boats.
it's there is for the gore.
Exactly. So I don't know why that was a complaint to somebody, but I was like, really?
Yeah.
The Deadites was the realistic part, but the unrealistic part was that someone parked their trailer wood chipper there. All right, whatever. Mostly, I've heard nothing but good things. That's how I feel. Someone was trying to say like, people who like the new movies hate the old movies. Some people who like the old movies hate the new movies. But they had a little poll, and even the result of their poll said 95% no, love all the movies. I think some people are just trying to find things to say bad about this. I really don't. I can't say there's a lot to the plot. It just kind of is what it is. This family lives up in this really shitty building, and most of it's like unoccupied. There's a lot of floors apparently that need to be renovated because they're
I
unlivable.
think that's also how they got away with not having a whole lot of actors and
Yeah,
extras. You know what I mean? There's only a few people on that floor.
yeah. Like there's a few people on the lower floors, and then there's a few people on the specific higher floor, but most of the floors are unoccupied. And so yeah, there's a big earthquake. Apparently, there used to be a bank before this and one of the kids, because there's three kids, an aunt and a mom, all living there. Well, the aunt's visiting. And when they get there, they just kind of
groupie.
yeah, the groupie.
I'm not a groupie though.
She's not a groupie.
She's not a groupie.
No, no. We got who do we got? We got
I mean, the actors, the one mom, the first one you meet, the one that lives there, I could recognize her. It took me so long. I was like, who is she? What is she from? She's in Vikings.
yeah, Alyssa Sutherland. She plays Ellie.
She is one of the best parts of this movie, in my opinion. A lot of people didn't like her. I liked her. I thought she was great.
I think honestly, and she might be the hottest Deadite I've ever seen.
She was. I was. Yeah. I mean, the contacts, those eyes. I mean,
it's creepy, but it's like slightly alluring. I just have to say, a little bit. Like I know it's messed up, but
I'd let her kill me.
Right. If I have to die by someone else, she was like, yeah, Henrietta's Pizza. Speaking of hot Deadites, Ted Raimi playing Henrietta from Part 2. That was the pizza they got from.
Oh, okay.
The old lady in Part 2 who's buried, like Nobi who's on the recordings.
Yeah.
He's like, I had to cut up my wife and I buried her in the cellar.
Okay.
And yeah, it's played by Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother. That was Henrietta, and that's why like the pizza that they get is Henrietta's Pizza. So
Sam Raimi and his Easter eggs.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Love it.
What's up, Rising Sun? What's up?
Salute.
But yeah, I would have to say Ellie.
She's hot, yeah.
Ellie was pretty hot. Like it was a little messed up.
I mean, overall, honestly, the acting I enjoyed it. Like when I was in the best mindset when we went to watch this because it was very spare of the moment. Dan invited us like at the end of the night, like, oh, let's close up and go see this movie.
Yeah.
I was in the best mindset. Like I almost forgot what we were watching. Like it started it like pretty slow. A couple kids on a
There's a cold open. Yeah.
It was a cold open. It was really cool. And I was like, what did we? And then and then it takes off.
Yeah.
Pretty fast.
There's some like homages to the original too. Like there's a part where there's a character and she's clearly possessed. You don't see her, and she starts reading out loud what her friend is reading across the room, and it's very much like Cheryl, who was guessing the playing cards from the original movie. When Shelley was trying to I don't know. Shelley was trying to get with Linda the same way Bill Murray does in like Ghostbusters or whatever, because she's like, oh yeah, you're totally getting them all right, when she wasn't getting them right. But then Cheryl starts getting them right, and she turns around all dead-eyed. So they get something like that going on here, but it was like they're reading a book. That was a pretty cool little homage back to the old days. There is a chainsaw. There is a boomstick. They don't say groovy at any point I remember in this, but you do hear like "come get some" at some point.
It would sound pretty weird at this point to hear somebody say groovy.
Yeah, like it would feel a little out of place.
You
like
hear it a lot,
unless it really fit like the character. Like if it sounds like they might be bringing Bruce Campbell back for Ash to mix with these characters and Mia from the last one. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I'm hoping for more. They're trying to get to the point where they're gonna make Evil Dead movies at least every 5 years instead of 10.
In my opinion, with how good this movie was and the ratings, most of them being pretty high, like I got a feeling they're gonna expand this universe. I really do. Like as a fan, I'm an outsider. I love the horror franchise. I think it's great. I'm not as educated as Dan is. I so coming into it from that perspective, it was such a good movie. It makes me want to watch all the old ones. And
Yeah.
I mean that's a good movie right there. If you have a movie that you can reach,
Yeah.
other audiences,
It makes you want to
you don't have to be
go
an
back.
obsessive fan to enjoy this movie. No
No.
offense, Dan.
No. Though I am. It is my favorite
What is
franchise.
shirt?
Evil Dead 2 is my favorite movie. This is Army of Darkness, which I saw when I was 9 in the theater, and it was my favorite movie at
How
the
many
time.
Evil Dead shirts do you own?
At least 5 or more.
A little higher, but still.
I think it's about 5. Um,
But still, that's still a lot of shirts. You have a lot of nerd shirts.
but yeah, Beth, she's visiting her sister and their kids. There's a big earthquake. They find a big hole in the ground that takes them to the old bank vault. They find the Necronomicon and they find some records. I thought it was kind of cool that it was like vinyl records this time because it's usually the old tape recordings.
I was gonna say it was tapes. I just watched the original last night because it's been a long time since I've seen it.
But yeah, it's like that old tape player, like kind of like almost like a projector of tape,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like audio projector almost. It's cool. So I thought it was cool that they finally like kind of switched it up, did some vinyls. Later on, there's like some cool use with the vinyl as well. That's for a scare. But yeah, it's just pretty rad that they went that direction, and I totally get the character Danny who like gets that shit because if I found that shit, I would totally take that up to my room and keep that too. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that'd be like something. I'm not a DJ like this Danny character. I'm not into that stuff. But if I found some creepy ass book and some creepy ass records, I would totally get that.
It sounds if it's something I would have done as a kid, 100%.
Exactly.
Like we wouldn't have found a record, we would have found tapes or something.
Yeah.
I was, but like still like playing it, want to play it and rewind, see if there's a creepy message on it. That's always fun as a kid.
Especially when something like that was like hidden by a bunch of crosses, like almost
Yeah.
Annabelle style. Like if she's been locked up in rooms and stuff where they put all this like words on her so she can't escape. And like I don't know, believe it or not, I'd be like that's just so metal and goth that I would have to like take it. Like I'm not even like goth, but it's just like in the cool way goth that I'd be like I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like okay, that's badass. But yeah, like Army of Darkness. Saw it when I was 9, loved it. I've been a big fan of the franchise ever since.
There's a figure right there.
Yeah.
Over there somewhere.
Up there. Got a lot of ashes. Like I got most of the Funkos of Ash in my man cave though. So I don't know. It had new characters. I still saying all this thing like I love this movie, but it probably at the moment is my least favorite of the franchise. Now that's not saying much. I would probably still give it 4.5 out of 5 stars.
I want to know what's your favorite? Can you list them real quick from first to
All right.
least
Well,
favorite?
I haven't seen this enough to know exactly where it falls. It's at the bottom right now.
Okay.
But
it takes a couple watchings for me too.
yeah, because I want to see it again. I don't know. I love Evil Dead 2. That's my favorite movie in general.
I knew that one.
That's my number one. After that, just the original Evil Dead. I think it's just such a cool thing that a bunch of friends with no money, gathered up whatever pennies they could
It
borrow.
was more what they wanted to make with the first one if they had money. Right?
Yeah, that's the second one. But the first one is just an amazing concept in its own, and I love it. It's still my number 2. Closely Army of Darkness. It was my favorite movie when I first saw it, but I didn't see him in order.
Comedy.
Yeah, but it's an adventure
90s.
fantasy as well,
Yeah.
and it's Bruce Campbell. I think like at his best, he's a cornball, but at this point, like he's gone through so much shit that you know that most of that's like a defense mechanism. Like he tries to keep people away from him because
I think
everybody
I'm gonna
gets
actually
close
watch
to
that
him.
one tonight. I haven't seen it in a while. I'm gonna watch that one tonight.
People who get close to him tend to die, so it's like there's a reason why he's kind of a cornball, and it's like. If you've ever played the Duke Nukem video game, they stole like all of his catchphrases.
Yeah, well, and Earthworm Jim has the groovy line.
Exactly, and then
Groovy.
I mean, Duke Nukem stole a couple from Rowdy Piper as well, and they live. But it's like I had to like show those movies to my friends when we were used to back in the day, and Duke Nukem was like for the PlayStation 1. They're like, "Oh, hail to the king, baby!" I'm like, "Yeah, have you seen that movie?" They're like, "Huh?" I'm like, "All right, we're putting that in now."
How important is the show to the series, to the franchise? Like, is it really connected, or is it?
Yeah, it's very connected. Like you don't need to see the show to watch the movies, but you probably should at least see Army of Darkness and
Watch the show.
Watch Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness for sure to watch the show. I mean, I think you could like the show even without seeing it. Like I think any of them you can jump in on and start from there. but I would watch Army of Darkness because then you'll understand more of the Bruce Campbell Ash character. Cheers says 2, Ash versus Evil, Rise, 1, uh, 2013 remake, and then Army of Darkness. Yeah, Army of Darkness, some people like it's low. For me, Army of Darkness is
I'm
number
shocked.
3.
Without like it's because it's I watched these movies at like when I was like 8 or 9 with my friends when I wasn't supposed to. Like these
Yeah, same
movies,
here.
like but like I wasn't that weird kid who watched it for like the scene in the woods with the girl. Like no, I wanted to I was like, how did they do this?
Yeah,
Like I'm curious, like how did they do this?
exactly.
I loved the special effects and the practical effects. Like it was such a fun movie. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just been a while since I've seen them all.
I saw the first Army of Darkness when I was 9, and it just came out in the theaters. Shortly after that, I saw Evil Dead.
83, right? The first one.
That one, yeah, 83, the first one came out. But then 92 is when Army of Darkness came out. And I saw that in the theater.
So it's a 90s movie, man.
Yeah, I was like 9 years old. I saw that. And I loved it. And then a couple of years later, I saw Evil Dead. And then right after Evil Dead, I saw Evil Dead 2. And it like clicked. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't even, when I was watching Evil Dead 1, something felt familiar. But Ash is so different that I didn't quite connect it. But as soon as he gets his hand cut off in the chainsaw, I'm like, holy shit, this is Army of Darkness is part 3? Like, because I'd already seen that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So it finally, like, really clicked for me.
This is last on Haley's list, too? You guys really didn't like it that much, huh?
No, I love it. Like I said, I give it 4 out of 5,
But
4.5 out of 5 stars.
I guess I'm thinking of it weirdly. Like it's just last on your list. Doesn't mean you don't like it. You just like the other ones better.
I give them all
Like, they're not-
A's.
yeah,
just
yeah.
some are A's pluses and some are A minuses, I
Yeah.
guess. But
I
they're
don't
all
know,
A's.
I'm really. I don't know. I don't know. Horror movies are weird with me. I really like them, but it's really hard for me to get scared. I've seen so many. I'm immune to them. This was really good. This one got me. It was pretty freaky. I mean, I don't know. The practical effects. That's what really gets me.
Yeah, then I would go Army is our Darkness is number 3. Then the remake, and then this one. However, I don't know. I need to see this one more. The main reason I love the remake. I think it's great, but it's my least.
The 2013 one.
Yeah, but it's the one I watched the
remember it
least.
Oh, I don't remember it at all. And I swear, Kayla says we saw it, and I don't remember it. So I'm gonna have to see that one again as well. Short term.
Oh yeah, the OG was 81. You're right. It was 81.
81. So
And then 86 for Army
so,
Darkness or
dang.
Evil Dead 2, I believe.
I
But yeah,
wouldn't be born for a couple more years.
yeah, it was 81. But yeah, so this one is just slightly below the remake for me, but I don't know if it's gonna stay that way. I love the remake. I think it's great, but I hardly ever get in the mood to put it in. That's why it is my last up until now. I don't know when this comes out, and I might end up watching this more and liking this more. I like more of the characters in this one. Like I really care about Mia and her brother in the remake, but I gave no shits about anybody else.
Yeah.
Where in this one I do root for the family. Like,
That's what I was gonna. They did a really good job of making you feel for them. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying not to spoil things, but like like you care about these characters.
Yeah.
So it makes everything feel so much more.
we're not gonna say who, but there's a body count, and there's also characters outside of the family. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how it is. There's people like that, but I felt really.
Well, sometimes you have to kill somebody that you don't care about.
You gotta break some eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah.
That's how it is. You gotta kill
You gotta
people.
make it pretty gruesome too.
Yeah, and I feel bad. Just like even death or not, the characters go through some real crazy shit. Like tell you that. Like that happens.
do,
Even
they
the
do.
ones who live, they get really fucked up, like mentally and physically. So that's all I can really say, and I really do care about them. I don't think there's a whole lot of story. Like I said, they find that stuff. As soon as they play the records, demon shit starts happening.
I feel like that's kind of a trend in these movies, like especially the Raimi ones. Like not a lot of stuff is solved, right, or explained.
No.
Like, do they really go into the deep story of the Necronomicon? Like,
If you really go through the comics and the video games and stuff, you'll find it.
yeah.
The
But
lore's
in the
there.
movies, they don't.
The show does a better job. The show will do a better job.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm burdened with the future. I have a feeling that they're gonna go deep on the lore on this, and the next movie is either gonna be a prequel or it's gonna be a continuation with the exact actors
Right.
that are at the end of this.
I have a feeling. Well, Bruce Campbell said that he got a tweet from Sam Raimi that told him to get his fat ass back into the gym because he wants to make another one.
Well, supposedly, didn't he retire?
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
said,
but
he
could
said
still-
that. But he
could
said that
still
several
play-
times.
I mean, money talks. Plus, he could play a separate character and you'd probably hate that, but he could literally just play a separate character.
He could, but I think they'll just make him older and let the
Like
newer,
like
the newer,
Splinter to the Turtles, like the
in a
wise.
sense, I think the newer
Yeah.
characters will do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But he'll still be himself. I love the public television The Dead episode of Creep Show. I think that would be included in the ranking. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's pretty similar. It's still, like I said, I love all this shit. I think we've established that we love it, so
Yeah, love, love, love.
I'm gonna go ahead and push this on there. We're not doing like any deep spoilers. I know that we might have said something that was slightly spoilerish, but
Just
we're
blame
keeping
me
it
'cause
light.
I'm the new guy.
We're keeping it light.
It's not
If
Dan's
the worst.
fault.
It might
I
have
don't
been
know what
mine.
I'm doing.
It might have been mine. I don't know, but we're not gonna tell you who specifically lives, who specifically dies, and all that shit.
Everybody dies. This is like Endgame Marvel.
Eventually, everyone does die. Like we're all dying right now.
Slowly.
One day at a time. Jason Goes to Hell was the worst Evil Dead movie. Okay, well, Haley has a point.
Oh, jeez.
I love how in I mean, Evil Dead 2 does show you Freddy's glove hanging down in the fruit cellar, so it's like there was this little ongoing Easter egg rivalry thing in a sense. But it ended with Jason Goes to Hell having the Necronomicon and stuff, and basically implying that Jason might be a Deadite of some sort.
Wait, that's right.
Yeah. They didn't really have permission to do any of that.
I was
They
gonna.
just
I
kinda
meid
did.
isn't the Necronomicon? I always mess up the word. Isn't it featured in multiple movies, other movies, or is it just Jason in this?
Uh,
I mean, I've heard like there's
might.
got to be some more lore to it.
There probably is. Uh, Spooky says, Danny, what do you think about Elizabeth Olsen joining the Evil Dead franchise?
Well, she's Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Tied into that, like obviously with Doctor Strange. Yeah.
If Raimi wants to put her in there, you get no objections from me. She is the most talented of the Olsens. The other ones are a little scarier and more Deadite, if you ask me. Like, run, Deadite Olsen twins.
They could play some good Deadites.
They could. They're retired though. They don't act.
Well, they're probably
Not that they ever really did.
Selling clothes, right?
Not that they ever really did. Ooh, shots fired.
Hey, man, I liked them.
They were likable, you know. You got it, dude.
Or their cringe rap.
Oh, everybody had a cringe rap back in the day, though, so I can't fault them on that.
They did like a thing with the Navy.
Oh,
in
boy.
the Navy. Oh man, I remember that VHS.
Yeah, we have a bunch of those at the store. So, I don't know. I can't recommend this more without like spoiling it. I'm not really gonna go into that. There's lots of cool things. Don't use elevators after earthquakes, kids. Not good for you to do.
Yeah, and then she used it right after.
I love how she tells her kids never to do that, and then she just goes ahead and does it. I think Lily Sullivan, who played Beth, was a great actress like this. She is like your final girl. I'm not gonna tell you if she makes it all the way to the end or not, but she is that type of character. Though granted, Bridget and Cassie and Danny are all pretty similar and like working really hard towards that end goal as well. And I think the people who played them all did a really good job. The acting, I think, is very superb. Maybe not with some of the like smaller bit parts, but they didn't do bad enough to ever ruin it anything for me. And there's just cool stuff with camera work, as always, to kind of keep it Raimi. They do a lot of cool camera work in this. There's even a cool scene you'll see through a peephole in a door. Like, that was pretty rad. There's cool stuff just happening in the backgrounds of certain characters that are very creepy. That I think you even see in some of the trailers if you want to spoil it for yourself. But it's just cool stuff. Like, always pay attention. I want to see it again. I'm going to go see it in the theater at least one more time before it's done. And I'm looking forward to owning this. There's a lot more I think that there's in there that even I missed. We talked about a few of the Easter eggs, but I'm sure there was even more. Yeah, everybody gave off a final girl energy, at least in the family.
Oh yeah, at the beginning, they built these characters to all be so individually strong that you weren't able to tell who was going to be in. And I was shocked.
It's a very fight for their life type thing going on.
Yeah.
And I think they did a great job. Like I said, Elizabeth Sutherland is an iconic Deadite, far as I'm concerned. She was disturbingly attractive as a fucking Deadite, but just has a great look. Like, it's been a while. Like, I think Mia really had a good. She was the most iconic one in the remake. Evil Ash in Army of Darkness was the strongest Deadite there, obviously, with Bruce Campbell playing two different roles where he's in makeup all the time just to go back and forth from being his normal self to a Deadite.
So crazy, yeah.
Henrietta in part 2, and then Cheryl in the first movie. But I think they had to have a good, strong Deadite in this, and Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie. Like, and it's just being like so creepy. Like your mom being that type of a creepy deadite wanting to kill you. You know your mom doesn't really want to kill you, but what's taken over her body is going to manipulate you, say abusive things to you, and just torture the hell out of you physically and mentally.
I feel like for me it would be so easy to just chop their head off, but like say it was Kayla. Like I'd have a hard time, man.
That's exactly what I'm saying, and that's why I like this one, and it might be better than the remake for me. I don't know yet. It's not higher yet. I've got them both at like 4.5 stars on Letterbox, but it just depends what I end up wanting to watch more and stuff. But I really do like that family dynamic because that would make it so much harder to fight back.
Yeah.
I think obviously Mia and her brother would be like they cared about each other, and siblings have always been a major thing in the franchise. We had Cheryl and Ash in the first movie. The second movie they kind of like pretended that happened, but it didn't. Third movie, The Army of Darkness. Even Sheila, she hates Ash right away because she thinks he like might have been the reason why her brother died in battle. She later, so it's like they always have like this very sibling thing going on. Obviously, in the remake with me and her brother, very important. But most of the people in that remake, like I probably would not have hesitated to take the axe right to their neck. Like in this movie, yeah, it would be a lot harder to kill your family that you love and care about if like you have to. So there you go. That's all I'm gonna say. I think that might be the reason why this might end up being my second to least favorite, but it's still awesome. Like, I hate to even say that. It's just I love them all, but mommy loves you to death, and I love this franchise to death. Yes, Haley. We talked about our Gory. She's under her Haley Knighton thing, but it's Gory B movie for
Hello,
those
Haley.
that don't know. We got Kayla also
Hello,
awesome in there. But yeah, that's what we talked about that. He was a Foley artist. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you what it's a Foley artist for. You'll probably understand when you hear it. I'm not gonna tell you what the scene is, but he's munching on an apple very like aggressively. So I think
I need to watch the 2013 one again because I watch Angry Video Game Nerd or not Angry sorry Angry Joe Show. It's a YouTube channel where they
Angry
review
Joe.
stuff, and he was saying, and I haven't seen it in a long time. He was saying that the 2013 one was just as gory as this one. I don't see how it could be. I don't remember. I if it was that good, I'd remember it.
Oh, it's they
That's
always
how I think of movies. That's how because I forget things so easily, but I don't forget something if I really enjoy it.
they always up the blood. The first movie, Ash is down in the cellar and like this pipe breaks and all his blood pours on him and like the like gets all over the thing. And that's really never was a world breaking thing. It's just a lot of blood for that first movie because they wanted it. The second movie, when he's shooting the wall to kill his hand, and then all the blood just shoots
Yeah.
out of the wall, boom, and just covers him. And then the third movie, Army of Darkness, I'd say has the least amount of blood throughout the movie, but it's still up the blood because it has that giant blood geyser that shoots out of the ground like Old Faithful.
To like get the record to have like, do you have to have a certain blood, or can you just have water and diet? Like
It has to be.
It has
blood.
to be like
I don't
fake
know.
blood.
I don't know the specifics on that, but it has to.
Like you can't just
be
dye
blood.
a pool red and say it's blood.
If like someone fell into like some water and they were bleeding and then the water just turned to red, I don't think that would count. It's supposed to literally all the stuff, even if it is like whatever how they made it, it has to be blood.
Yeah, okay.
Like it has to like in the story,
So-
it has to all be blood.
Yeah.
Like, and then so yeah, in the remake, Mia like just fights off a deadite and just all this blood is just spraying like insane all over her.
Well, Kayla, get ready for watching all the rest of the movies.
And then in this one, it's kind of a Shining thing where there's just a lot of blood in a small area, like that just fills up.
I
That's
said
all
it
I'm
to
gonna
you
tell
right
you.
after the movie. Like I was like, it seemed like they were going for a record. It
Yeah.
seemed like they were doing it on purpose.
They did.
But it wasn't. It didn't take away from the story. It wasn't
No.
just like they were shoving blood at your face for shoving blood at your face. Like it was all written. It was all.
It fits the plot,
Yeah, it was
well,
all
the way it's
a
supposed
reason,
to be.
Yeah, it all had reason to be there.
But the reason why, I mean, yeah, it is like for a reason. It's because It Chapter 2 took their record.
That's what you were saying.
Then they wanted it back. And a lot of people thought, well, wouldn't The Shining?
But this is only good for the fans, right? This is like streaming wars with HBO.
Yeah.
Like this is only going to benefit us because
Exactly.
now it's going to have to come back with more blood, right? Unless you don't like blood and you want more just story or whatever. But
You get pretty good story in most of them as well. I think that might be like slightly the weakest part of this movie, but it's still not a knock at it. I think it's solid enough. Like,
yeah, see, Spooky says he watched it on Saturday and then watched the remake. that's a good
There you
movie
go.
these days. Like if you can make people, if you have a franchise, if it's just one off, who cares?
Mhm.
But if you want people to watch all your old stuff,
Yeah,
like give them a reason to
exactly.
put out new stuff.
So, we're drinking George Killington's Irish Red, but I like to just
Thanks,
say
gang.
we're drinking Henry the Reds.
Cheers. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. I think that's about all for now, though. We're gonna keep it short and simple. Like I said, go see this. Go see this in the theater. If you are a horror fan, you should see this.
This is one you need to see on the big screen.
I mean,
Like,
unless
it's great on the big screen.
unless you've hated all the Evil Dead stuff up until now, then yeah, it's not for you. It's not going to be any different than that stuff. If you like Evil Dead stuff, go see it because on the big screen, it's amazing. I'm going to see it again before it's out. I'm going to definitely own this. It's an own it for me technically. I just don't have a
This might be my favorite horror movie of the year.
It is actually so far.
Honestly.
So far it was my most anticipated and I feel like it didn't let me down. It's not my favorite in the franchise, but so far it is my favorite of the year. I would say if you're gonna see a
Knock
horror,
in the Cabin was good.
it was really good.
I think this one might beat it.
For me, this beats it. If you're gonna see one horror movie in the theater this year, this is one I would say go see it. There's probably I'd recommend plenty of them, but this is definitely one I think you should see in the theater. Yeah, more geysers of blood like an Army of Darkness.
That's a movie that can get away with it.
Yeah.
They can get away with geysers of blood.
Exactly. And
which I'm excited to watch again because it's been, honestly, I don't think I've seen that one since either the late 90s or early 2000s.
But even with a geyser of blood, that was like in a sense comical. So like that movie throughout the movie feels like it has hardly any blood. It's just that one specific scene where it's like they go so cartoonishly amount of blood from one person. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like that wouldn't fit into a person. And you don't even see like how it gets out of said person. You just know they're in a pit and they scream and then this giant geyser of blood that's like more blood than person possibly in there. I love it though.
Maybe we can do Army of Darkness at the shop for movie night.
I'd be down for that. It is the most PG-13. When they went for that one, they were trying to get PG-13. They feel like they were screwed by the ratings board for like their previous movies because they're like, well, what do we have to do to change it? And they're like, they wouldn't give them like any hints. Oh, it's just the overall feel. And like, they did their best to make that movie PG-13. So
thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we're trying to keep it spoiler free here. I just want people to go see it.
I'm glad Dan told me before we started because I was ready to just go in.
I know Gory is gonna be doing this in like a couple of weeks. I think enough time will like have passed where we will just go into depth more about what we love about it, and I can't say that will be spoiler free. If I did drop one or two, I apologize. It just happens. It's hard to talk about without dropping a little bit.
Yeah, this movie's good enough to like not want to spoil it for you guys. You should go see it.
But I'm not telling you how it ends. I'm not telling you like who lives and whatnot.
Everybody dies.
Yeah, everybody dies eventually. They're all dying. They're all clinically dead.
It's just a dream. They're all dead at the beginning.
I saw it in my theater. Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, we missed the trailers. Well, Doug didn't miss the trailers. You saw the trailers.
For
this
movie?
Yeah.
Honestly, I came in pretty blind. Like I watched the trailer when it came out.
No, you saw the trailers that happened before.
Oh, before, yeah. Dan was a little later, but
yeah, I had to go after work and pick up Gory, so we were running a little bit behind. But
did it show "Talk to Me" trailer? I don't think so. I would have known if it did. It showed. I texted it to you because I didn't want you to miss anything.
Yeah, you were like Fast X or something.
Fast X. I texted it to you. Yeah, it was something. It wasn't "Talk to Me." I don't know. Oh, it was Mission Impossible. I think it was the first one.
Guardians of the Galaxy, and Mission Impossible and Fast X.
Fast X. Yeah.
Those are the
strange trailers for the movie choice.
Yeah, usually they have horror ones on there.
Maybe there's not a lot of trailers out right now for horror movies.
Yeah, Kayla said she didn't see the Talk to Me one either. So I don't know.
Her memory's a lot sharper than mine.
I got there right in time as the movie was starting, but I didn't see the trailers. All right, so like I said, go out and see it. Let us know in the comments below how you feel about the Evil Dead franchise. Where does this one rank for you? Thank you for watching. Have a good gory old time.
I'm over here. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, cut.
Nice.
Oops, hold on.
We're still here.
Yeah. Cut.